está bien YouTube? Hey, it's Canadian Conquistador again. Aren't you tired of hearing about all those success stories? Aren't you just jaded by hearing people climb Everest and people making millions in their business and everything? Well, I have some refreshing news. I'm going to give you a story of an unsuccessful story. Unsuccessful story. Unsuccessful story. So sit on back, relax, humble yourself, and get ready to learn and be successful from my failures. You ever hear the saying, you make the plans and God provides the steps? Well, that doesn't give you license to make a plan that is out of your league or beyond your capacity or capabilities. You see, about a year ago, I had made a plan, and this plan involved doing a great hike, epic in my lifetime. And this plan involved doing a 160-mile loop through the Collegiate Peaks. It's part of the Colorado Trail. I was very excited to get along on this trail. Many things have happened in the past where my mother has been ill from cancer for the past decade or so. So I went on a hike maybe 2-3 years ago, and it was a 100-mile hike. And while she started declining in her health, I stopped hiking. I started flying every time I had a vacation. I spent my time going to see my mother, and I wouldn't take those minutes away. But I did end up declining in my own health, my own cardio and mental health, I guess you'd say. All of us have been during this coronavirus, forced mandated masks. Now it's the forced mandated vaccine. We're all mentally in decline at this moment for the most, I think. Some of you may have picked up your feet and were able to get through this unscathed. However, a lot of us were locked down, and we ended up, declining mentally, and we didn't even realize it. So about a year ago, my mother passed away, and I decided that I needed to get back up into the hills, whatever the cost. I didn't really think about the physical part of it. I didn't really think about the mental part of it. I just knew I had to get back on the trail. And my ambitions, I set my plans high and prayed over it that God would provide the steps. But this story is not about a success story. This is about a failure, or at least a unsuccessful story. So I made the plans. They've been in the making for a while now, and I kind of got up to the last minute. I didn't take care of my mental health. I didn't take care of my physical health. And the time came, and I was on the trail, and I was on the trail for approximately 3 days. It was very hard for me. I don't remember hiking being that hard before. Soon, the physical part wasn't the problem as much as the mental part. See, a lot of people during these last couple of years being locked down and that have been in complete depression. Complete depression, anxiety on high. I don't know if that's the grand plan of it all, was to get the people to have such anxiety like this, but I am a skeptic and a conspirator theorist, and I believe that the people in charge of it all don't have that good of intentions as the optimists out there would think. I don't think they have our best interests. But anyhow, we've all been locked down. We've been suffering in our jobs, in our personal lives, and this can drag a person down. It can also make it that when the lockdowns are over, that everybody's over anxious to get on with their regular life. And I believe that I suffered more from an arrogance and a need to feed my ego, and it was based on a past image of how I was able to accomplish previous hikes. And so that alone is a recipe for destruction, or being unsuccessful at anything that you are going to do, especially if you're living on a past version of yourself. A person really needs to focus and determine where their mental and physical health stands at the moment before going on to an adventure such as this. So this adventure was formed on fallacies, or lies to myself, I guess. So I'd like to think that I did pretty good, considering I had a 70-pound pack. I definitely overpacked my food, but this is just an excuse. But when I talked to other hikers, they all had 30-pound packs and they were breezing along like no problem. I dropped down into a valley and camped there that night, and I woke up the next day and I had a choice, and I was being attacked in my mind. If you know the Spirit of God, He does not speak to you in fear, and He does not bring you that type of fear. It is a spirit of evil, that negative voice in your head, that one that's talking of lies and bringing you down, is definitely the devil. It appeared that I've been listening to that voice instead of the Holy Spirit. So that morning I woke up and I looked at two sides of my path that I had to go. I could either go back or I could go forward. And going back involved going up 4,000 feet, and going forward involved 5,000 feet and 150 miles. I went up. I managed to get the mental ability to keep going on. Later on that day, I kept going up, kept getting negative thoughts. I was thinking, what if I get past this hill? This is a point of no return. Once I got past that hill, it meant that I would have to involve others if I was to need to be rescued. I didn't like that thought at all. I'd rather think positively and say I could do it. But physically, I was huffing it. I was doing 4 hours for a mile of climb, albeit it was uphill the whole time. However, I was doing the math and I was like, I am never gonna finish this in 12 days. I'm not gonna finish it in 12 days. I spent half a day going up a mile and 1.9 miles, I believe it was, 4,000 feet. And I got to the top and I kept listening to the voice. It was a voice causing me to have fear. And fear of failure, and fear that once I get past that point, I'm not gonna be able to help myself. Others would have to help me. And I did not like that feeling whatsoever. And I was worried that I would get to the other side of that hill and not be able to continue on, and then to have to backtrack and go over two mountains at 4,000 feet each climb. I really was self-defeated. I was worried about not making it. So if you were smart, unlike I was, you would have asked the questions, are you physically prepared for this? Obviously, I wasn't physically prepared. I wasn't exercising. I was going for a walk every day, but I wasn't doing like squats and deadlifts and stuff like that. Calf raises, all those things that a hiker would want to do if they're going to do a long hike with lots of weight. Had I been getting sleep? Yes, I've been getting sleep, but probably not the type of sleep that you need for such an endeavor. Had I been eating right? Definitely not. I was eating junk food, eating lots of ice cream, chocolate, all this stuff up until the day I left. Drinking soda every day, that's a dehydrator right there, diuretic. And I'd have to be honest with you, I was extremely dehydrated before I even took off for this hike, which is a big, big no-no. I was dehydrated before I even left, so that means I was fighting an uphill battle the whole way. I was trying to drink as much water as I could, and there was a drying wind that was blowing the whole day in high 90s, and it was just sucking the moisture out of my body. So the whole entire 2 days, 3 days that I was out there, I was completely fighting. I was even taking electrolytes and all that, and it was too late. Once you're dehydrated, you cannot hydrate yourself properly, and especially not out in the wilderness. you need a lot of downtime, a lot of sleep, and you need to be sipping dark juices, eating crackers, and I've been dehydrated before, and I was hospitalized for dehydration, so I'm very susceptible to dehydration. And being up on that mountain, knowing that the water wasn't going to be frequent, then that happened also. My water filter cracked, and then my water bottle got a hole in it, and then my CNOC bag got a hole in it. So all three of those things happened. So I believe that I got Giardia, or Giardia, whatever you call it, because I was actually getting some not 100% filtered water, which is not a good thing. So that started messing with my stomach. An unsuccessful story can't be without some excuses to save face, right? So I did have some things going for me. I had a cracked water filter, a cracked water bottle, and a broken CNOC filtration bottle. And my dog had punctured a hole in my air mattress, so my sleep was horrible. My dog actually, I got about 2 hours sleep every night, maybe that. But not having sleep, not having enough water, being dehydrated already. I wasn't physically fit because I wasn't training for this hike. So those were a few of my excuses. So now I have to tell you, when I was on top of that second hill, I call it a hill, it was a very big mountain, 12,000 foot. I was having spiritual battle within me. And I was having a hard time. I was telling myself, you're a failure if you go back. You're a loser. Everybody's gonna think you're a loser. They're gonna think you're overambitious and you're in over your head. And albeit that might be true, that is the devil speaking. Now I also had the Holy Spirit speaking in me, but I didn't recognize that it was speaking to me. It was telling me, get back down. This is not the time. You'll have another time to do this, but right now, God doesn't want you to be up here on this mountain. And I didn't realize that voice had spoken to me until I had already did a full retreat listening to the devil in fear, going downhill. And I thought that I would forever regret making that decision. But when I did get down and I got back to the house, I was severely dehydrated. I'm still dehydrated. This is like the 4th day that I've been home. I'm still chugging the water, the dark juices, all that stuff, and I'm still dehydrated. I was on the toilet for a whole night, all these things. So can you imagine if I would have went over that second hill and just kept going and had no way of getting back to civilization? I could have been at mile 80. I still think every day, as I'm here, I'm sitting here doing the math in my head and wondering where I'd be on that trail right now. You know what? That's unrealistic. I'd probably be on the side of a trail getting helicoptered out. Dehydration's not a joke, but I am just here to tell you, basically, yes, I failed at this, but you know what? It wasn't a failure because I used my brain. I didn't focus on my ego or my arrogance. I gave up on that. I know there's a lot of people that because of ego, they'll jump off a cliff, you know, to their death, just save face. But I learned that sometimes it's better to retreat, rethink your plans, and then tackle that mountain another day. But I just wanted to share this little story with you in case you're wondering. I did those past 3 videos preparing for this hiking trip. And just to let you know, I am back from the hiking trip, obviously. I'm alive, and I can continue to make a realistic plan, get physically fit. I know what I need to do. I know I need to reduce my weight. All that weight was in food mostly. I brought way too much food. I might consider doing resupplies instead of just trying to do an unsupported 12-day hike. That way I can make it past day 4, you know. Time to start thinking smarter the older I get, you know, when the body's not as efficient or predictable anymore. It's time to use your mind more than bronze, you know. So I just wanted to tell you, yes, I wasn't successful, but you know what? You guys learn from my mistake. Make sure you exercise. Make sure you're mentally stable. Make sure you get you're mentally checking out your maps. You're making sure your topos. You're seeing what you're getting yourself into. Make sure your equipment's point on and working. If not, replace it, you know, before you get up there. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to tell you, be safe out there. Enjoy your hikes and learn from my mistakes, okay? Be successful. We'll see you.